first concern about No Child Left Behind is it just absolutely freezes the status quo in place. It makes it impossible for any kind of significant innovation to be experimented with or piloted, as long as those who run the schools have to live in fear of test scores.
It's an issue of political control right now. Who is going to control the school agenda? Now, this has been going on, as you well know. Any decent professor of education knows that, controlling, schools have been cultural battlegrounds forever, since there have been public schools. We have one reform movement after another. But I think that it's significant to keep in mind that the forces that are trying to control schools, and that certainly aren't teachers, are losing, and they're losing badly right now. And what I see when I study this is, the federal government, for instance, has gone from wanting to abolish the Department of Education in the 1980s to now where they want to control as much as they possibly can. The states, who have the constitutional right to run their public schools, are more than happy to give up their responsibility to the feds and let them lead the charge toward standardization or whatever it is that they feel like they want to do. The state officials have betrayed their own constitutions. The states have the right to run their schools, not the federal government. Teachers, on the other hand, because they're either too terrorized or too passive. There's a tradition in the South of basically being obedient and passive and doing as you're told and not standing up, even when you know you're right. Teachers are also shooting themselves in the foot. And perhaps one of the worst problems I see from a teacher's perspective is that whereas there was at least an effort in past generations to appoint school leaders, superintendents, principals, to choose these from folks with an academic, intellectual, scholarly background. Now we're seeing individuals getting into the leadership positions that are, business-oriented technocrats, military people, whatever, but the move is away from academically trained individuals. And this is going to destroy any chance, I think, of fixing public schools if it continues.
And in fact, the whole discussion that's been the formative discussion in this country for the last 40 or 50 years, that we want to have equal quality education for everybody, is completely off the agenda simply because of NCLB. And we've got to tie it into that as part of the way to convince people. But I think that what you were saying about the lack of evidence, and what Peter was saying also, that sympathetic politicians, if we could educate them what alternative assessment means, I think they might be able to bite on something like that. But it's really, I think, going to take a movement that's a lot bigger than the politicians. They'll only respond to the short term.
What the public needs to see, what parents need to see, and I'm speaking as a parent as well as being a teacher, they need to see actual proof. They need to see results. I think I'm leery of us getting too deeply into discussions of visions right now. The vision, if we really are trying to build, if we truly value building solidarity with parents and having parents and teachers work side by side, led by teachers, but working side by side to educate children at the local level in a fair, just, and democratic manner, then we're going to work out that vision with those parents, with those families, with those neighborhoods. That vision is going to evolve out of the process. I don't think we need to worry so much about talking to power right now and creating a vision that's going to somewhat grab the attention of the politicians or whatnot. I think we frankly need to worry far less about the politicians and far more about the common people and how we can mobilize them to take education into their own hands with the guidance of teachers. So
I wanted to add a different kind of perspective, because it's not just about fighting back. We don't really want to go back to the old system, and in fact, we can't go back to the old system. The forces in society that want NCLB don't intend to have that system even in existence anymore. So we have no choice but to fight forward to something else.